My name is Rose. I am a large-scale immersive installation artist and I am the founder of the Children's School of Art. The Children's School of Art is an art school for kids aged 5 to 15 where we create creative programs in fashion, drawing, painting, sculpture, installation art, sci art, all the weird, wacky and wonderful art forms that you can think of. I began my creative career as a graphic designer. I then transitioned into the artistic industry to have a little bit more freedom of expression and to create opportunities that you couldn't necessarily do working in advertising. Then that was a natural progression into arts and education. I started the school with just an idea, purchased a property. The first item that I got was this filing cabinet, which really made it a solid item for me. Like it was a school that was starting, but the reality was we only had 7 students. We had no teachers, we had no extensive programming. It was just bare bones and we just made it happen. Artists come up against a lot of challenges, and one of those challenges is space to create your work and finances to fund your work. So the school was a natural progression for me as I was already working with children and art and running workshops and creating education programs. But I also really needed the space to create in and the steady income to finance those large-scale works. The school started from that beginning, a need to sustain my practice, and it kind of just grew and took over from there. I come from a small country town, which is a little bit alternative, so art was a really high priority. And a lot of the processes that we learnt in our classrooms were not things that kids are generally taught. So batik and working with hot wax and using hammers and nails and saws and stuff like that. I find that children these days are very mollycoddled and they don't get the opportunity to get burnt by a hot glue gun or accidentally miss a nail with their hammer. But using those materials and those processes and learning from those mistakes are really important to being creative and to be able to express yourself. So my primary school education was really important to how I feel about art now. Art for me, and something that we try and incorporate into the school as an important element, is a point of expression. How do you express yourself when you can't use words? How do you show people your perspective of the world around you, or your thoughts or your feelings, or all these things that you experience in your life? And I think it's really important for kids to be able to have an outlet that they can create to enjoy. Art is important to me because it's a way to visualize my internal world. And I think that's also really important for children, to be able to have an outlet, whether it is fashion or building or music or writing, but how do they express all those feelings and emotions and experiences that they're going through in their lives? It's a way that they can communicate other than words. I guess for me, making art really came about from trying to fulfill all those childhood dreams that I had, trying to create this imaginative world that didn't exist in reality. The aesthetic of these works are really like Alice falling down the rabbit hole, where she's gone into this bizarre dreamlike space where it's weird and wacky, and my installations are a little bit similar to that. They don't make sense, they can be a little bit scary, but they're also fun and dreamlike and something that you can experience and explore and take away what you want or try and repress the rest. Some of the themes within my work extend from my experience within the advertising industry. So sound, taste, touch, iconography. You step into a shopping centre and you're instantly in that buy mode, that mode that makes you want to look and purchase and consume. So I tend to have a lot of anti-consumer themes that run through my work, which ultimately leads me to choose a lot of consumerist products. So everything from toys, plastics, food products, popular culture items, verge side collected, discarded curios, all of those combined together and arranged and modified to create something new and interesting. Those items also have a really strong appeal with children, especially toys and plastics and anything brightly coloured or anything that you can take apart and put back together. Working with kids and with education, there's a nice flow between with those two things. I think the idea of using everyday objects and consumerist objects is very indicative of our time. It's about this mass consumption, this mass production, this almost wastefulness. We have a lot of desires that we want to fulfill straight away and we just consume more items, and I personally don't think that it's good for us or for the planet, and I guess I kind of just want to highlight that within my practice. I just want to be able to create amazing experiences for people. Something bizarre and wacky and out there, and something that they will remember with all their senses. I don't know if that's possible, but perhaps that's an ultimate goal of mine for my art practice. Being an artist in general, I find that the constant barrier that you're up against is financial barriers and barriers of worth and barriers of support. And it's not that they're always lacking, but it's hard to coordinate them together so that you can produce a complex body of work, getting all the important people on your side, getting the funding bodies, getting the arts organisations, getting the galleries, getting everyone together to be able to create a significant work is probably the biggest challenge that I've faced in my practice. Overcoming these barriers is all about perseverance and just really sticking at the project, representing it, refining it, resubmitting it, getting the people on board that you need to believe in the project to make it successful. I think with any of these projects, you really just have to keep going, adjust, move forward, and refine. It's a lot of work to get there, so I always like to say that making art is maybe 20% the creative making process and 80% admin. I love Perth for so many reasons. One of the reasons is that there are so many opportunities. It's like a small country town, but a city, and it's a place where you can have an impact and you can help shape your industry. So for me, running the art school in Perth was about creating these opportunities, but also to see where we can take our young future artists. We're in a prime position where there aren't a lot of opportunities for young children to be creative in Perth and to have that continuous creative education where we can expose them to lots of different opportunities, to lots of different techniques and processes, and to really help support the future artists of our city. Supporting our future young artists is really important for me and for what we do in the school, because they are our future thinkers and doers and makers. They're going to shape the future of our city. They're going to shape the future of our world. Like, if we can instill some good stuff into them, then where can they go with that? They can go anywhere.